There we go. Well, hey there. It's Friday night, and y'all know what we do on Friday night. It is Let Tiff Teach You Live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out. I gotta take it off. Tonight on a Friday night, you could be absolutely anywhere, but I'm glad that you came to hang out with me. And so tonight I'm gonna try to do something a little different than what we normally do, and we'll see how it goes. Hey, Lydia. We'll see how it goes. I am going to take live questions for the first time with regard to the food shortages that we are experiencing and that will, hey Ty, that are going to continue. And also any questions that you guys might have about food storage or prepping, where to start, like the whole shebang. I'm going to do my best to share with you guys the information and knowledge that I've gained over the last 2 years or so, that I've been aware of this phenomenon and help you strategize for you and your family. So, normally I have like a specific thing that I want to come in here and share with you guys. And I was really like sitting and praying like, okay, God, what are we talking about this week? And he didn't give me anything specific. And part of that, I think, is because there's just so many things. There's a lot happening. There's a lot to cover. There are a lot of different ways we could go. So I have some loose notes, but I really felt like Q&A was the best place to start because it's been a lot of information, right? Like we've been here for the last 3 weeks talking about food shortages, talking about famine, talking about how to prepare yourself to ensure that you and your family do not go without, and that you have what you need, even if what you need is not at the grocery store, right? So we've been talking about that for a couple of weeks. I've given you guys a lot of information, and I know that, and so I wanted to just kind of avail myself to my community to answer any specific questions that people might have, and I got a couple already. Hey, Lips! So I got a few already from people who were like, I can't make it. I'm not going to be able to get on the live, but I want to know, X. So I'm definitely going to answer those questions. I can see all of your comments, so feel free to drop your question in the comments, and I will go through them as they, in the order of which they come in. So I hope that you've had a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope it's been productive and abundant and enjoyable for you. But we're going to get into it because things are accelerating. Things are accelerating very quickly. If you saw my post earlier this week that coffee prices are going up and tomato products are about may get a little slim, or the prices may go up significantly for what is available. Could go either way. So I wanted to dive into a little bit of that and let you guys know like why this is, what's happening and why and how this is going to affect you. Because what do I tell you guys? If it's happening somewhere else, it's going to happen where you are. So you need to be aware. You have to be informed. An informed community is a prepared community. And so that is one of the things that I hope that Let Tiff Teach You is helping you with, is keeping you informed, and not just telling you, oh, this is terrible, but giving you tangible, relevant tips on how you can prepare right now before it gets any worse. All right, so we're gonna start with coffee, because if anybody knows me, you've been around me long enough, you catch me in the morning, you're not gonna catch me without coffee, and you don't want to. And if for all my Starbucks lovers out there, this may affect you in the future. It could, it may, it may not, but you need to be aware that coffee prices are rising. You may have noticed that they've been going up. I know I have. My particular brand of homebrew coffee has gone up for the size of the container that I purchased, probably $3 or $4 in the last few months. Like, I was like, yo, really? That's what we're doing? I still bought it. Let's be clear. Let's be clear, I still bought it. But I was really surprised that it had shot up like that. And that's going to be a continuation. So let's talk about why that is happening. So coffee is grown in South America and Africa, primarily. The coffee that we drink here in America, primarily. And the part that we know as coffee is actually the seed of a coffee cherry, which grows on a tree. So what do we need to grow plants? Water, dirt, and sun, right? That's what we need to grow plants. So if any of those are out of balance, our plants don't grow right, correct? So in Brazil, they are experiencing, guess what? A drought. Why? Because the whole world's in drought, y'all. So Brazil's having a drought, which is impacting the coffee crop, the coffee cherry crops. Okay, they're not producing as much, so there's not as much to process and make what we know to be coffee out of, because there's not enough water to feed the trees. All right, so that's the easy nutshell version. That was not an intentional part. Of what's going on with coffee prices. So there's not as much, and we know when supply goes down and demand goes up, prices go up. That's economics. All right. So because there's not as much production, we may continue to see these prices of coffee continue to go up, continue to increase over the next several months. Now, I want to make sure that I'm sharing with you guys that you're understanding the timeline of our food system, because a lot of people think like, oh, they grew it and a month later it's in my grocery store. That may be the case for fresh produce, but it is not the case for anything else that's in your grocery store, okay? So something is happening right now. Our economy and the markets, like the groceries, the stores, those producers who supply food to our grocery stores, that process could be 3 to 6 months. So this increase or longer, let me say that, or longer, depending on the product. So this price increase that we're seeing just in coffee right now could be an ongoing situation for a while. All right. So if you're a coffee drinker, I might have to just cut back like a little bit. Because honestly, like one less cup a day would save me some money, because my coffee would last longer. So that may be something, that I have to consider. So that's coffee. So coffee prices are up. They're going to continue to go up. If you catch, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you, keep your eye out for a sale. And if you catch a sale, stock up, buy 4. It's not going to go bad. Put it on the shelf, put it in a closet, put it behind the couch. It's not going to go bad. It's sealed, so that you can get a better price. All right. So that's what's going on with coffee for all my coffee lovers out there. It might be a little bumpy for us. Now, absolutely, Lydia, you absolutely. Is that it, Kel? Hey, Kels. You can. Coffee, cool, dry place, airtight. It'll be just fine. If you have, now even better, if you have a grinder, buy beans. They last even longer than ground coffee. So I definitely had the thought today that I might have to start cutting back so that what I have lasts a little bit longer. So look at Lydia is getting y'all together in the comments. I just want y'all to know. All right, so now let's talk about tomatoes, and then we're going to jump into some questions. So if you just joined us, hey y'all, I'm so excited that you're here. I'm taking live Q&A. Feel free to drop your questions regarding the food shortages, famine here, as in here in the United States or globally, because there is a current famine in the world, okay, happening right now today on August the 26th. There are multiple parts of the world that are currently in famine, okay? I need you guys to hear me say that. We are experiencing food shortages in the United States. There are multiple parts of the world that are in famine, all right? So, questions about food shortages, questions about famine, questions about preparing, stocking, practical tangible what to do. Drop your questions, and after we talk about these tomatoes, I'm gonna jump into it. All right. Okay. So let's talk about the tomato shortage. So no, not last week. So 2 weeks ago, I told you guys that one third of American produce and 2/3 of American nuts are grown in California. And what's happening in California? A 20+ year drought. And in the last 2 weeks, because of the drought and because of the level that it is at, the federal government has actually stepped in and told the states that share the water usage in that area that they got to cut back. And so that cutback affects it affects agriculture, it affects people, so that's how much water you can taking a shower, brushing your teeth, flushing your toilets, washing your clothes. California can't even wash their cars right now. They can't even water the grass. It's a lot. So in California, because of this drought, tomato crops have been affected. All right. So from what I have researched and what I have read, the majority of the tomatoes that are grown in California, these tomatoes are used to make tomato products. All right. So think ketchup, tomato sauce, pasta sauce, pizza sauce. These are not your buy them on the vine in the produce section tomatoes. These are your processing tomatoes. But these tomatoes are experiencing a shortage because they've been affected by the drought. Again, what do plants need to grow? They need water, and there isn't any water in California right now. So there's ketchup on the shelf right now. That's cool. You probably won't have ketchup for another 3 months or 3 to 6 months or so, because these are shelf stable items. So this means that we might not see this for a little bit, but I want you all to be aware. The processors may be able to do some things, and it might not be real bad. But I'm one, when you tell me a problem is coming, I'm just gonna act like the problem is coming and prepare in that way. And so I want to share that information. So the next time, I'm going to buy, I don't go through a whole lot of ketchup, but I'm going to buy 2 bottles and just put it on the shelf. What I am going to buy for my own home is pasta sauce. I'll be, when my tomatoes come in, I'll be making some pasta sauce and canning it, but I'm gonna grab a few bottles right now. So if those are things, if you use a lot of tomato products in your home, and you can, what's the grocery store around here that does 10 for 10? Giant Eagle. So sometimes the Giant Eagle will have a 10 for 10, or Acme may have a 10 for 10. If you catch a good sale, now's a good time to stock up. It's, again, these are shelf stable pantry goods. They're not going to go bad. You're going to use them before 10 years, I'm sure. So even if you buy them and the prices don't skyrocket, you just hedge your bets. All right. So that's possibly going to be affecting the price or availability of tomato products in the future. All right. So wanted to share those things with you. All right. Now we're going to jump into these questions. So I've got a couple questions I received via inbox. So I want to get into those. Okay, so the first question is how to stock up fresh veggies without pickling them. Can them. The answer is can them. So canning can be a very scary process for a lot of people. If you've never seen it, if you've never done home canning, it can be a little overwhelming. I bought a canner and I didn't can a thing for a year because I was overwhelmed. And I was like, I'm gonna close the kitchen down. But that's how you sort fresh vegetables without picking them is through canning. Some can store them in some vegetables in water. Like I would not suggest that's not a strategy for everything, because you wouldn't want to store cucumbers in water because they are water and they're just going to get turned into mush. So some vegetables, yes, but if we're talking about long-term preservation, canning, dehydration, freeze drying, are going to be your best strategies for that for long term. So like I said, I had a canner. I had my canner for a year before I ever actually used it. Excuse me. And I was very, very intimidated. I was intimidated. That's the word I was looking for. I was intimidated by it because it's big and it looks like it does a lot of things. It's got a lot of gadgets. But canning, but I tried it. The first thing I canned, what was the first? No. The tomatoes were first. Tomatoes were the first thing I canned. Some diced tomatoes were the first thing that I tried to can because there are two processes of canning, and tomatoes are in the easier process. So I did that first. And then like once I had gotten over the fear of the first try, right? I was off to the races, y'all. I was like, oh, this ain't that bad. Let me go get, Now, canning there's an expense in canning up front. I don't want anybody to be like, oh my God, Tiffany didn't tell me. Yes, I did. A canner is going to run you anywhere between $70 and $150 a quality, right? But this is a long-term investment. A good quality canner is like your mama's roaster. You know that roaster that come out every year at Thanksgiving and Christmas and maybe Easter every year, and you don't even know how long it's been there, but it just is like a good quality canner is like that roaster. It just lasts forever. As long as you take good care of it. Then you need jars, and you need specific kind of jars, lids, ingredients, and you need space for storage. That may not be everybody. Everybody might not be able to do that. Dehydration, however, you can do in your oven. And it makes everything really small. So it's very, if space is your concern, dehydration may be your friend. And then you just rehydrate the stuff when you're ready to eat it. And there you go. So that is one way for long-term preservation on fresh vegetables. All right. Where's the other question? All right. Y'all doing okay? Y'all doing all right? Is everybody all right? Okay. Okay. So here we go. How do you suggest a newbie to begin stocking up? 3 categories: food, water, medicine. That's where you start. Those are the first 3 categories you are going to handle: food, water, medicine. Okay? Because you cannot survive without water, period. You need food. And then if you have health conditions, you want to make sure that you have your medications. I have two strategies that when you're starting out, I think are the best ways to go about it, especially if you're on a limited income. If you have some money to play with, you can upsize this process. But if you're on a limited income, this is my honest suggestion to you. Plan A is buy one more. So if you're going to buy 1 bag of rice, you buy 2 bags of rice. You just buy 1 more. You choose the thing that you're going to buy 1 more. And every time you go grocery shopping, you buy 1 more. And then you put the 1 more away. 1 goes into your active cabinet, pantry. This was for dinner for the week. This bag of rice, I got 3 recipes I'm making with rice this week. But this extra bag is going to go away, and we're just going to leave it. Okay? So that's plan A. Plan B is determine a set amount of money that you are going to spend consistently to build a stock-up pantry. So that may be $5 a week. It could be $10 every time I go to the grocery store, like when I do my grocery shopping. It could be, I'm not going to go, y'all know my example is don't go to Chipotle this week, and take your Chipotle money this week and build a pantry with it. I know for a fact my Chipotle order is $12.85. I know I got 15 cents floating around in my car. So that means that I got $13 this week that I can dedicate to adding something to my pantry. Okay. Those are the two plans that I suggest for people who are new to preparing and trying to build a pantry. That's how you do it. You don't need $1,000. It doesn't matter how big your family is. You don't need $1,000 to get started. You just need to start. You can get 12 cans of just about anything at Aldi for under $10. So those are my 2 suggestions. Buy 1 more and set a specific amount of money that you're going to spend on a consistent basis on your stock up pantry. If it's $5 a week, if it's $10 every other week, if it's $20 a month, it doesn't matter. Just set it and use it. Those are my strategies. Those are my suggestions. I'm trying to make sure. Okay, no, that's not a question. I wanted to make sure somebody wasn't sending me a question. All right. So those are the two questions I'm going to check out. Salmon, if you have questions about, hey Bobby, thanks for chiming in. I appreciate you. Tonight we are talking about food shortages and how to prepare for them. They are here, they are happening, and I want to make sure that my community knows how to make sure that you and your family are not, caught out there. So if you have any questions about what's going on, the why, the why and the why and the why and the why, please drop them in the chat. Kales, yeah. If you can get to a Costco, if you can get to a Sam's or BJ's or wholesale club like that and buy a thing, if it's just one thing that is going to be shelf stable, and just put that one thing to the side. Even if you only did that once a month, you would, hey, Mr. Lawrence, you would be you would be doing what you can. So, you want to stock up on your food, water, and medicine. If you can, y'all know me, I'm your favorite neighborhood garden lady. So I'm always going to tell you to grow something. But here in Ohio, we are headed toward the end of the season. And so if you've never grown food before, I would not suggest that you start right now. I would suggest that you set your mind, start planning for next spring, and start slowly building up the supplies that you're going to need to start a garden in the spring. But making sure that you're building that stock up pantry. The reality is 85% of it, according to FEMA, 85% of Americans do not have 3 days worth of food in their house. I don't understand. I digress. But that's what FEMA says. 85% of Americans do not have 3 days worth of food and water in their home. If the power went out, we even got to talk about food shortage. If the power went out, I live in Ohio. We still have real winter sometimes here. If it's a bad winter storm, hey Bree, my girl Bree lives in Houston. They, hurricanes and flooding and all that. It was flash flooding in Dallas this week, flash floods in Kentucky 2 weeks. You couldn't get out. Yes, there are food shortages happening, but being prepared and having what you need in your home to make sure you and your family are not without is your responsibility. It's not anybody else's. It's not. So you want to make sure you're stocking up on food. Do not depend on your freezer, because if the power go out, okay, what kind of food? Make sure you got your proteins. What are proteins? Your canned chicken, your canned tuna, your canned salmon, your canned beef, whatever you eat in a can, right? Shelf stable, gonna be fine. Veggies, corn, peas, carrots, spinach, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, whatever kind of vegetables, and then your what are considered high calorie carbs. So rice, instant potatoes, right? Pastas, and then associated sauces if you want those kinds of things. But things that you can make a meal, and you want to think in meals. I got a can of chicken, a box of bow tie pasta, and a jar of Alfredo sauce. I can make a meal. That's a meal, right? I got a can of chicken and some rice and a can of creamy chicken soup. I can make a quick casserole. We're not going to be hungry. All right. It might not be 5-star gourmet, and it may not be, what I want to eat today, but I'm not going to be hungry today. And that is what I want to make sure that you guys are prepared for, because I do strongly believe that we are going to see a worsening of the food shortages here in America don't be bougie, Bree. Listen, don't be. Them grandmama meals, they wasn't always the best, but we were not hungry. You're gonna go into your grocery stores and shelves gonna be empty, y'all. Like, it's not. I've already seen it. I've already experienced it. I've walked into big box stores in my area, and where the item is supposed to be, there's a picture of the item. Anybody else seen that? There's a picture of the item, but none of the item. I went into a grocery store here in my neighborhood this week and was like, why does the shelf look so odd? And then I realized there wasn't any peanut butter. And across the whole shelf was one brand of peanut butter, all faced. But it was just one. Right? Just one. And there was nothing behind it. Like, I moved. I was like, what is going on here? So I moved one. The whole thing is empty. They just have the front faced so it looks full. Okay? Y'all, it's happening. You have to pay attention. So, lunch meat. Now, let me tell you, and this lunch meat been crazy across the country. Lunch meat has been short everywhere. I mean, all different parts of the country, all different regions. Lunch meat been like jacked up. So, like, if you eat lunch meat, right, deli meat, you see it, go buy it and put it in the freezer because I'm not sure what's happening. But exactly, Jasmine, these shelves are empty. They are trying to make it look full, but if you just pay a little bit of attention, you'll realize there's not really anything there. It's not going to get much better, y'all. So I want us to be proactive and not reactive. I want you to have a strategy now. What the Lord said to me was the warning is the provision. You know, I've seen people in Christian communities saying, well, the Lord will provide. He did when he told you that the famine was coming. He did provide. He gave you wisdom and foreknowledge. That was the provision. Now you have to get up and move your feet. Okay? And he ain't dropping manna out the sky. We have to do what we have to do. All right. I'm not going to jump. Ms. Dolores, best way to store onions and potatoes is in a cardboard box, loose, in a cool, dark, dry place that's off the floor. So, like, my potatoes are in a brown produce box on a shelf in my basement, right, in a corner that doesn't get too much sun. And I don't fill the box up. So they might be 2 potatoes high, and it's a tall box, so that they're in the bottom of the box and they have even less possibility to for the light to hit them, for them to turn back. Yes, I can. I will post a picture. I don't overbuy, and so I freeze dry onions, and I can potatoes. So those are the ways that I store those things. So what is freeze drying onions? You take a whole onion, chop it medium dice, and you take a cookie sheet and you lay it out in a single layer. Get a cookie sheet. Put a piece of wax paper or parchment paper on the cookie sheet. Cut up the onions, put the onions on the cookie sheet on top of the paper, and then just put the whole thing in the freezer and let them freeze. And then once they're free, and so you want them to freeze, and then once they freeze, you can break them up and put them in a bag, and you got frozen onions. What else can you freeze dry? Peppers of any sort. Bell pepper. I do bell peppers and chili peppers and jalapenos. And once it's frozen, you can put it all in the same bag. Quart size freezer bag. I froze my jalapeno peppers from last year. And every time I need a few jalapenos, I just pull a few out the bag. I think the bag is still half full. That was last year's harvest. So this year's harvest is going to be a whole new bag. Corn. So if you bought fresh corn, you can cut it off the cob and freeze dry it. That's another one. Fresh peas. Think about things that you find in the freezer section. You can do that at home. So if you go to a farmer's market and you catch a good deal and buy half a flat of strawberries, you could do broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. You just get the cookie sheet, wax paper, parchment paper, throw it on the thing, and you want a single layer because you want to be able to break it up once it's frozen so that you can get more in the bag. But yeah, freeze drying, absolutely. Freeze drying is your friend. That was how I preserved my pepper harvest, my bell peppers and my jalapeno peppers from last year when I got to the point where nobody would take anymore and I couldn't figure out what to do with them. I just freeze dried them, and it was great. It was great. And so all year I just grab a handful. I'm making tacos or fajitas. I just grab a handful of peppers and throw them in there, and they were wonderful. They tasted great. So yeah, all of those kinds of things can be freeze dried. Absolutely. Did I miss anything? I'm gonna make sure. The peanut butter wasn't super expensive. It just wasn't. I mean, it was expensive because the only thing that was on the shelf was the expensive peanut butter, like the national brands. Out of here. All that was left was like the super organic, unusual nut butters, which are always more expensive just because. Okay, we talked about that. Yep. Yeah. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that process, Bree. The only thing is when you get ready to use them, is you're gonna have to unthaw the whole bag to get how much you need, which is why I like the freeze drying process, right? Because if I freeze them individually, then when I get ready to use them, I can just kind of shake the bag a little bit and they'll come apart, and I can just get the little bit that I need without having to unthaw the whole bag. So there's nothing wrong with it. Just that because I cook a lot and I'm gonna use them a lot. That's what I think about. Okay. I'm just checking to make sure nobody, because I keep getting these notifications. I don't want to be missing questions from people who may not have been able to join us tonight. But I think that I think that's all the questions we have for tonight. It looks like I didn't miss anything in the comment. So thank you guys for your questions. I hope that the information I shared with you was helpful and that you all can use that and utilize that going forward. If you have more questions, feel free. If you're catching a replay, are you catching a replay? If you're catching a replay, nice job, Jess. I knew once you got situated, you was gonna be on it. I wasn't even worried about it. If you're watching a replay and you got questions, drop them in the comments too, because I'll come back and I'll check and get back with you. So please don't think if you missed it live, but you're watching the replay, that you're not part of this conversation, because you are. So leave your questions in the comments and I will get back to you. I wanted to do this way because I felt like this is where we are. Like, we've talked about it. I've given you the steps. I've given you the tools. I want to just address people's individual questions and individual concerns. So we can just go forth and do what we need to do. I have is it a blessing? It's a blessing of being able to inhale a lot of information. And I'm looking for God in that information. And I heard Pastor Dylan Sellers say it this week, and he said, I just be trying to hear God and watch the news. And I was like, yo, that's like, y'all be laid out on your faces, and I'm literally watching the news and listening to God talk to me while I'm catching all these stories, and like, he's showing me the point where they convert. Feel like it don't make sense, right? Like, that this can't be God. I'm just putting the 2 and 2 together and getting 4. And so shout out to Pastor Dylan Sellers, because he just really affirmed me and my process, and knowing that God is steering each, all of this information to me to share with you guys. so that we can be prepared. It is my firm belief that God does not want his children to be caught unaware. And it's a lot of people who are going to be caught unaware because they're not paying attention. They're just going about their daily lives, and they're so focused on themselves that they don't see the storm coming, because they're just like, they're like this. Lots of people are just like this. And you really have to lift your eyes to see this, because so many pieces and have to be able to. I'm grateful to God that he's given me this insight. I pray that it is blessing you guys and useful to you guys. Yes. So aluminum, the can shortage is a shortage of aluminum. Why is there a shortage of aluminum? It's not the aluminum itself, it's the manufacturing piece, right? They got to dig it up, take it to the plant, make aluminum as we know it, and then send it to other places to make cans. Well, all of those steps require people. And what we don't seem to keep in the forefront of the conversation is that over 1 million people died over these last 2 years from the illness. If half of them had jobs, who gonna do them jobs? We don't have no more people. So, we got staff shortages in a lot of places because the people died, y'all. They died. So, so that's that. The glass shortage is about sand and the process of making glass from sand. So yes, there is still that's a shortage that's still happening. New pots and pans. Listen, if you can catch them, if you find, it's a lot of things. On a very serious note, I went out today to grab one thing from the store, saw a sale on something else, because there has been a shortage of feminine hygiene products. Well, I saw at the closeout store a box of 36 tampons for $2. I bought 4. I don't need 4, but at $2 a box, when we got a shortage, you got to do what you got to do. Those are the kind of things I want you all to be like, to see and be like, yeah, that's worth. I need to spend that money right there. I don't need this double cheeseburger. So yeah, there's a national shortage on feminine hygiene products. So like when I catch a sale, can I confess? Can I be honest with community? Community, can I be honest with you? I really might go back tomorrow and buy the rest of them. Because I'm a teacher and I like to have those products for my classroom. And I got a daughter, she got friends. Like, I never know. But yeah, there's a whole shortage on products of feminine hygiene products in the nation. There absolutely is. Oh yeah, Jess, they did. So back to that point. Yes, they did. All those people died, and we just don't have more people just chilling in the house to go do those jobs. A lot of these jobs are specialized, So like, I can't just pick up today and decide I'm gonna drive a truck, like a 18-wheeler. I don't have those skills. When people who work in specialized arenas pass away, you need somebody with those skills to do that job. You can't just go get Joe Schmo off the street. It don't work like that. And so a lot of what we're seeing is like people just don't have the skill sets to fill the job. So this is where we are. All right. I could be on a tangent for that all night. I don't want to hold y'all all night long. I think that's enough for tonight. We got many more Fridays in front of us. We gonna keep talking. We gonna keep chatting. I'm gonna be here every Friday night. Y'all know. Lydia. So I bought toilet paper, and it happened to me the last time I bought toilet paper, and I was so confused. Like the size, like I buy a particular pack, like it's a particular count. And like the way the pack is designed, like I know, like that's my pack. And I went in the store and I was like, what is this? Wait a second. How many? Like, and you know, I'm reading, and I'm looking at the tags. Like, are y'all out of my pack? And yeah, they are. They're changing the dimensions. They're changing the sizes. Listen, it's not a game out here. Y'all gotta pay attention because they gonna get you if you don't. You're gonna get to that register and be like, I spent $100 more than I normally spend, and then just going up, right? Not only are prices going up, but if the price stays the same, but the package gets smaller, the price went up. Okay, do y'all understand that? Does everybody get that? That if the price stays the same, but the package gets smaller. So like I used to get a 12 ounce, no, I know for a fact, I used to be able to buy a 16-ounce bag of broccoli, frozen broccoli. And it was, the 1 pound was 99 cents, right? The 16-ounce bag of frozen broccoli, the long one, was 99 cents. Now, a 12-ounce bag of frozen broccoli is 99 cents. There's 25% less in the bag for the same price. That means it's 25%. The price went up 25%. That's the math, y'all. That's the math. So it's not just like, that used to be 99 cents and now it's $1.29. Well, maybe the price is the same, but the package is smaller. And that is what you're going to see. I had a conversation in the grocery store with a gentleman who was talking about the price of a bag of sugar. And he was saying it used to be a 5-pound bag of sugar. Now it's a 4-pound bag of sugar. And it's the same price, but it's not the same price. Those are other ways that, like, you may not feel it at the checkout, but you're gonna like, why I need sugar so fast? How we run out of that so fast? Because the package was smaller. But you paid the same amount of money, but you really got less product. So I want to make sure it's a numbers game. Queenie, I don't remember the last time I bought a bag of wing dings. I'm just not doing it. I don't need wings. I don't need wing dings that bad. I just don't. Because I saw a 4-pound bag of wing dings. It was $16. Y'all done lost your mind. Not ever do I need a wing that bad. Can we talk about how much eggs are? So, Bree, eggs are actually going down in Ohio. Praise God. The price of eggs is going down, but it was. I think I realized they were like, it was stupid. I paid $5 for 18 pack of eggs and was like, whoa, wait a second. You know, but there was a whole, okay, so why did the price of eggs go up? Bird flu. Because bird flu happened and they had to kill like 50 million chickens here in the U.S. So when they killed all the chickens because of the bird flu, that was like late spring, like April-ish, because it was before school got out. That's why I remember. They was just the off-brand. Flu happened in late spring. They killed a bunch of chickens and egg prices ran up. It was the run-up. So that's yeah. But yeah, these wings everywhere. Whole wings is like $3-4 a pound. I'm not. Bless you if you can, but I can't. Jazz, if I get a real bad taste, I will go to a local restaurant, and support a local restaurant with those dollars rather than buying them at the grocery store, because it's just not worth it for me. But all right. So if you are somewhere else in the country, I absolutely want to hear about what you're seeing. What are you noticing in your neck of the woods? Because I believe what's happening over there will happen over here. And so we have to share information And so I want to make sure that my community is doing that. I know, Jazz, you're in the Carolinas, so you're in the Southeast. Bree's in Texas. She's in the Southwest, technically. But if you're in a different part of the country, what are you seeing? What are you noticing? What's happening in your neck of the woods? Let's share information so that everyone gets on, is aware of what's happening. Yeah, y'all still y'all gonna be in a drought till the hurricanes hit, and maybe it'll help. We're praying that it'll help. We're praying. All right, y'all, we've been on here for 45 minutes. I think this is the longest live I've ever done ever since I started doing lives. But I love having this conversation with you guys. I love it. I thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart for supporting. Let Tiff teach you. Oh, really? Yeah. No soup, like canned soups? Like canned soups. Pasta has been hit or miss here as well. Pasta has been hit or miss here for a while. I went into a big box store, and the whole, and pasta is a long aisle. The whole pasta side of the aisle was empty, except for like two weird pastas that don't nobody eat. So, like I said, if you have ethnic grocery stores in your neighborhood or that you're able to get to, Indian, Arab, African, Nepali, Korean, Chinese kind of grocery stores, don't sleep on them, because they got a plug we ain't got. So if you are not seeing it at your regular grocery stores, go to the Indian market. I promise you they got it. Go to the Chinese grocery store, because they got it. Okay? So that's my last tip for the night. That's your Let Tiff Teach You tip of the night. That might be a thing we start doing. What y'all think? A Let Tiff Teach You tip of the night. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I appreciate you. I love you. And I'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.